Hello, dear friends. And this illusory matrix was not created by us, but by them through spells. Our responsibility is to have allowed ourselves to be easily trapped. Matrix is not only a movie, but also the allegory of Plato's cave, and the Maya or Samsara of Eastern philosophy. Opinion piece. Spells of the Matrix. Did they lock us in with rituals? They negotiate the keys to free us. The bad guys would go to a prison planet. They would be the fallen angels in another world. Penguins negotiate in Antarctica. Smooth and orderly transition desired. Detoxification process intensifies. No traumatic monetary collapse desired. Let's start. Excuse me, I'm correcting. Magic keeps the old system going, and it wouldn't be white exactly, because it's all trade. These are rituals performed by those of the number 33 to lock this planet and the human species into the spells of the Matrix. They would have the keys to disintegrate the spell of the dark circles they have drawn around each society, as explained in the last message from Dr. Michael Sola. Precisely, that is what the Galactics are negotiating with the penguins in Antarctica, to unlock these dark spells to free the mind and the protection they give to the institutions they created. They created 9 circles of darkness, as in Dante's Inferno, and this explains the existence of the famous 9th circle. This is because they still have the means to destroy or wreak havoc on much of Earth, and they are using this power, this secret knowledge, to negotiate the escape from the planet through the Antarctic portal, which is now in the hands of the coalition. To gain their freedom, that is, passage through the Antarctic portal to a new world in another galaxy, they have to hand over all the keys and codes of the black magic used to subjugate humankind and Earth. All these hidden keys and codes must be revealed and handed over to the coalition, so that the latest control of magic over the planet can come to an end. The Galactics do not like to negotiate with bad guys, and they are also very angry about what they have done, but they have no choice but to do it so that they reveal their secrets in exchange for an exile from which they will never be able to return, because it will be their prison. They will benefit from a prison planet that will give them whatever they want, but they will never be able to escape. A distant world in another galaxy whose name is not yet known. They will live forgotten and happy. The best way to end the conflict. Antarctica is the meeting place because a portal could transfer them when the time comes. They would give the keys to unlock their rituals and project the dark cycles. The 9 levels of darkness would collapse as one and disperse into a dust that would spread to the 4 winds of liberated human consciousness. Harvests of souls. Those who worked to abduct human souls and bodies are about to leave Earth, so the liberation of humankind would be very near. The Guardians are the seeders of human-like races in many galaxies, and have arrived to witness the graduation of humankind into the galactic community. The so-called soul harvesting involves separating a soul from the physical body and using it for multiple negative purposes. In the early 1990s, Alex Collier was one of the first to reveal that soul harvesting occurred routinely. They will not be taken immediately because you need to undo the rituals, reorganize all the bases of your society to avoid a collapse that would be chaotic. A traumatic monetary collapse is not desired. They desire a smooth transition because the chaos has had enough. They are instructed to recalibrate the monetary systems so the new system that the coalition is bringing. To the new system, I mean. It seems that the elite would become the fallen angels of an Eden in another galaxy when they arrive through the Antarctic stockade, taking with them their advanced knowledge and whatever technology they are allowed to carry. For the wealth elite who attended the Antarctic meetings, this should be a very tempting offer to give up all their power on Earth to start over as fallen angels on a new planet. Poor people of the new planet, I add. Soon events on the planet will accelerate. It will be a storm, but the more you can wake up, the faster this storm will pass. They wouldn't live this week, but they are ordered to change the system and disappear forever. In 2023, all of this would be a memory, and we would celebrate together. That tells us that all these major events would occur in 2022 as a result of the surrender and the elite living through the Antarctic portal, while it would take a few months yet to deal with the remaining minions who are desperately trying to hold on to power by imposing unpopular policies which will ultimately bring about their downfall. Various galactic organizations which helped deliberate the planet would be rebuilt and a graduation into the galactic community would be completed. Black magic. Black magic has traditionally referred to the use of supernatural powers of magic for evil and selfish purposes. Black magic refers to those acts of magical liturgy whose nature, methods, or objectives are not commonly accepted by the society in which they occur, and which generally have a personal selfish purpose, with no thought for social or public consequences. Black magic is a type of sorcery and is defined by the supposed performance of evil spells designed to produce misfortune, illness, or any other type of harm. It is used as an antonym for white magic. Baphomet is a demon supposedly worshipped by the Templars that was later incorporated into various occult traditions. The name appeared in the transcripts of the trials of the Templar Inquisition beginning in 1307. Since 1856, the name has been associated with the image of the Sabbatic goat, drawn by Eliphas Levi, which contains binary elements symbolizing the balance of opposites, for example, half human and half animal, male and female, good and evil, etc. Levi called his image the goat of Mendes, possibly following Herodotus' account that the god Mendes, the Greek name of Jedet in Egypt, was depicted with the face and legs of a goat. Herodotus relates how all goats were held in great reverence by the Mendesians. The Ninth Gate is a 1999 film directed by Roman Polanski based on Arturo Pérez Reverte's novel The Dumas Club. He talked about the Nine Gates of the Kingdom of Shadows by Aristide Torchia, one of the three existing copies. The author adapted the book from one written by the devil himself, and which was burnt for heresy. The 9 gates supposedly contain the means to acquire invincibility. The plot consists of authenticating an ancient and rare book that supposedly contains a magical secret to summon shadows. Pure black magic. Why are we here? Now we know why we're on Earth, by Sandy Stevenson. Although we may not have realized it, Earth has been controlled by corrupt forces for quite some time. We are now returning to the entire planet to full light. Although this is not easy to accomplish considering the control it has been under for centuries, we will be out of it surprisingly quickly. We feel it is not fast enough, but when we understand the extent of the corruption that has permeated all parts of society, and it is a miracle that it can be accomplished for all. For a long time, some of the truth has been ridiculed as conspiracy theories, and the people who held those views were laughed at. But the tide is turning and millions are no longer laughing. No area of society has remained untouched by corruption, and has been for some time. After the assassination of President Kennedy in 1963, a large team of starseeds came together with a plan to end it and restore the light on Earth. That plan was put into action when they recruited a man who was willing to expose the corruption. He became the 45th president. From that moment on, changes were set in motion to change the world by exposing the dark side's plan for the suppression of humankind and begin to create a whole new way of living based on integrity and truth. Black hats. The term black hats was often used in cowboy movies to represent bad people. They threw everything they could into a continuous media blitz for 4 years to try to smear the name of that president, desperate to stop the great exposure that could come. People addicted to mainstream news bought the stuff, but many did not. Regardless of their dark efforts, nothing was big enough to stop the momentum and divine destiny of the Earth. But compared to the Earth's 7.7 billion people, the black hats are a drop in the ocean. We easily outnumber them as soon as people do not respond to tactics and threats. The forces of light have taken steps to clear the mud slowly, without creating alarm, panic, or more dense energy. Human beings are basically good people, but various factors resulted in our current situation. The whole thing we are facing was due to a plan that combined implanted negative consciousness, external influence, great food and water contamination, chemical traces, radiation, blackmail, and negative energy waves hitting the Earth. Although the corruption began much earlier, the turning point was made possible with the agreement made in 1953 by some members of the Eisenhower administration to exchange superior off-planet technology for permission to abduct a limited number of human beings. This contract was broken when the abductions exceeded the agreed number, at which point universal law was violated. Fortunately, the light workers are strong enough and resilient, and they are winning. There are many starseeds strategically placed in all areas, integrated in all locations and businesses in all countries. Photon Belt. It was talked a lot about the Photon Belt in the early 90s, and we understood it to be a band of high-frequency light that would move into Earth's sphere at some point. The Photon Belt is now ready, and humankind must be within a specific higher frequency band. Any human being still clinging to the dense personal energy field will not do well, and it's likely to experience some pain and trauma. We have been asking people for 30 years to clear their own dense energy patterns. Anyone who fails to raise their light frequency will feel very uncomfortable and will end up having to leave the earth if they cannot change, as they will not be able to tolerate the higher frequency. Where are we now? There is almost no dark interference left on Earth, including from within the Earth, space satellites, external forces, the dark side of negative implants underlying media brainwashing and satellite transmitted frequencies. Almost everything would be gone. That doesn't mean it will all end immediately. Much of it must remain in place because this reduction of freedom would be helping people to wake up. As much as we want it all to go away, there doesn't seem to be another scenario we could use on Earth at present that could continue the awakening. Yes, we could have a big announcement telling everyone that it was all a dark force plot. But was that accomplish? Does it empower an individual that they will now feel stupid to need to be told and resist believing in any way because they didn't experience that realization for themselves? When a soul realizes from themselves that something is wrong, something different happens. They do not feel stupid or wrong because they saw it for themselves and choose to accept a different truth. This empowers them. It awakens a spark of consciousness in the soul and causes an increase in frequency. Unfinished business. What remains to be handled? All that remains to be resolved are some struggling black hats who have not yet received the message from their superiors that they lost, have not officially admitted defeat, and are now dismantling their structures, and will leave this planet and this galaxy forever, to be escorted through a multidimensional energy portal to another galaxy, where they will be unable to ever interfere again. We need to continue to expose the illusions of the three-dimensional world humankind has known. This ensures that we awaken all people capable of awakening as soon as possible. They need to let go of the three-dimensional illusion. We have a natural instinct to protect children, and this will help awaken people. Let us continue to raise the frequency of our own energy by not allowing ourselves to lose faith, become discouraged or impatient. It may take a while yet, but it will not be forever. As we raise our light, this passes into the collective consciousness and helps everyone on earth. We must also stand in our truth, hold firmly to a position, help whenever it feels right, and not let our egos decide to judge or make people wrong for decisions they make. Trust that the light has it all in hand. They really know what they are doing, even if it doesn't seem like it sometimes. The light workers have done an amazing job of blazing the trail for humankind. You shine throughout the galaxy because of your diligence, determination, and love. The light force is in control of 100% on Earth and the galaxy. We have won. In short, we are completely winning. Basically, we have already won. The light force is now in control. Only now do we require the rest of the world to awaken to release dense energy as they take their power. We can consider all events on Earth to be so intended. All alien interference has completely disappeared, not only from Earth but from the galaxy. And don't worry if you didn't realize there was any interference. Many of us had no idea. In fact, there is a lot of things we had no idea about. It has been well hidden. The dark side is over, and they know it. They have been throwing the last remaining control tactics at humankind in a desperate attempt to make them succumb. It hasn't worked. Yes, sure, we will see people still conforming. They are still asleep, but millions are not, and those millions are waking up to more millions every day. The dark force lost the battle. It is finished. In fact, they have officially surrendered now, in December. They are now required to dismantle their remaining structures, and this is happening, although it will take a few months to manifest. All aspects of their plan are being resolved, and we will see a change in all areas. Detoxification. According to Vital Frozy, the dark forces which have enjoyed unrestricted freedom on the surface of planet Earth for hundreds of thousands of years are now facing the forces of light, who through great effort are progressing to eliminate these negative forces as quickly as possible. The energetic adjustment of the physical body must be made as it ascends from the carbonaceous body to the crystalline body. Many souls have already made a plan for the current incarnation and have decided not to go through this process, so they would disincarnate before the change takes place. Others, however, have decided to go through the material life transformation and are now feeling all the symptoms of the energetic frequency shift, not only themselves, but everyone else on this planet. It is a series of symptoms that are actually closely related to the adjustment to the higher frequency that everyone experiences. And that is what is happening now. The activation of new systems and frequencies requires its detoxification and purification to become a new human being. This detoxification process is not the same for everyone, although many symptoms are the same or similar. Nor does it necessarily happen at the same time for everyone, because although we are in the same world, the changes involve a number of individual factors. Everyone undergoes this change, even those who have not chosen to have their souls ascend during this incarnation. For them, too, the day will come when they will feel the energetic frequencies that are in conflict with their own. We can compare it to a fruit tree. Not all fruits ripen at the same time, some earlier, some later, but it is a long enough period for all fruits to fully ripen. We can also compare it to the work a mechanic does on a car engine. Before starting work, the entire engine has to be cleaned, removing the accumulation of dust and all the dirt that adheres to all the parts. The moment of the turning point is approaching. Everything will become more and more intense and alive. The process cannot wait. Those who are ready cannot wait either. From above and from below, energy are pressing together now here on Earth. This is the moment long awaited by many ages, and with it we go to the new Earth. Hold on tight, for there are curves coming. Acceleration. According to Dancing Dolphin, things have changed dramatically in the world, and everyone has felt it for many years. The pace has accelerated. Wild events are happening that you do not understand. Massive energy has been sent through solar flares and other celestial events. Your personal life changed drastically in the last year and a half, and this rupture forced many to reevaluate their lives. All this chaos is not a coincidence. All this has a purpose, and that purpose is your ascension. It is for humankind to ascend on Gaia. This is great historical news that should bring much joy to your heart. It is not something to fear. It is something to be ecstatic about. For this process, our spiritual development has taken millennia to gestate. Many cosmic races have watched over Gaia and your progress all this time. The structures of the ascension that we are to experience is quite different from any other that has happened before Gaia. This time, we Earthlings have decided to ascend in our physical body rather than in disembodied spirit. We, as a collective, decided long ago how our ascension would occur. Many may have experienced the symptoms of ascension as our bodies have changed over the last 20 to 30 years. We have increased in frequency and have slowly ascended all the time. The body has changed little by little as well as the matter that composes it. We are lighter and can retain much more light than 20 or 30 years ago. We eat and sleep differently. Many people understand these things, but other human beings haven't heard about it, and they will be surprised when certain things start to happen. What will the event be like? When the ascension event begins to happen, people will suddenly become quiet. If they are driving a vehicle, they will stop because their higher self will tell them to stop. If you are running for exercise, you will stop. Regardless of what you do, you will stop and be quiet. People will want to lie down wherever they are. If you are working in an office, you will rest your head on your desk. If you are working outdoors at a construction site or just outside in general, people will stop and lie down where they were standing. In the hours leading up to this event, people will be guided to find a place to lie down. For example, if they are driving, they will be guided to pull over and find a place to park so they can lie down in their cars. Humans will need to be rested during the ascension event, as they will be in a state of extreme exhaustion, just wanting to sleep. This is a natural process. Not worry about it. People on the dark side of the planet will experience this in their sleep. Everyone will dream the experience, and it will be a beautiful dream. People will dream of some mode of transportation and get off this transportation at the appropriate place for them. There are many different levels that human beings will ascend to, and that should make sense to everyone, because everyone is at a different spiritual level. So it is not as if everyone will arrive at the same point. People will go to the area that is comfortable for them, whether it is 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, or higher. When they get there, they will rest a little bit more, but they will go there in their physical body. You will dream the experience, but you will wake up there in your body. You will not feel fear. You will feel a little confused, but your higher self and your angels or spirit guides will be there to talk to you. There is consent about separation from family and friends who may end up in different destinations than you. When that happens, you will not mourn them as if they are dead. You will understand that it was where you were supposed to go, and they did the same. You will feel connected to them, and you will still remember them. You will mourn their loss, but not as if they were dead. You will feel comforted. Your angel, your spirit guides, and your higher self will always be with each one of you to provide understanding. Happy journey. Thanks a lot, dear friends.